Welcome back, everyone, in War Eagle. My name is Eddie Orantes, and I'm the Director of Business Operations for the Office of Alumni Affairs at Auburn University. And for the next 30 minutes, your host of 18 minutes and 56 seconds, the Auburn Alumni Association Speaker Series. To see all of our shows, you can go to aub.ie/1856 series. We want to keep this fast moving, so all our guests will talk or present or do whatever they do for no more than 18 minutes and 56 seconds. And we want to hear from you. So ask questions and interact by leaving comments on our Facebook page. We'll do our best to answer them in the half hour that we have together. Today, my guests are Dr. Martin ONeill and Hans van der Reijden. They will discuss the genesis of Tony and Libba Rane Culinary Science Center and overall impact that this will have for Auburn University, our city, and our state. So welcome to the show. How are you two gentlemen doing?
Doing good, Eddie. Thank you for the invitation.
Well,
fantastic.
I'm so happy that you did join us. It is exciting to see what is going to be taking place in the next upcoming year or two. I know that there's a lot of work that went into it, and I know that both you gentlemen have a passion behind it. So today's an opportunity for our alumni, those that are watching on Facebook, to get a sense of why that excitement is there. But to start, I do want to know more about you individually. And so if we can start, Dr. ONeill, let me introduce you fully. You are an endowed professor of the Horst Schulze and a department head with Auburn University's Department of Nutrition, Dietetics, and Hospital Management. Tell us a little bit about your story, your Auburn story.
Oh, wow. It's funny. I go along the board meetings all the time, Eddie, and I tell people, I listen to people talking about class of this, class of OíNeill, class of 2000 and whatever. And I'm not an alumni. You can tell from my accent. I'm actually from Northern Ireland, and I arrived in Auburn via Western Australia in 2002. I worked for a university, Ithaka University in Perth, Western Australia, and we had an exchange relationship with the Department of Consumer Affairs in the College of Human Sciences, and that's where I got introduced to Auburn. Did my first visit in 1999 and arrived fresh off the boat in 2002, initially on sabbatical, but decided to stay. And I've been here now for just closing in on the end of my 18th year. So it's been a great time, a very easy place to fall in love with. And while I'm not an alumni, I may as well be the next best thing. My wife got her PhD here. My two eldest sons got their undergraduate degrees here. My daughter got her undergraduate degree here. She's doing her master's degree here. And I got one more member of the Auburn family to come through. So it's just nice to have time to talk to you today.
Wonderful, thank you. And that legacy that you're speaking about is something that I'm going to discuss a little bit later. I think it's exciting to see that once you came, those roots are so deep that now you're continuing to pass that forward. That's exciting. Now, Hans, I see you often because we're neighbors. Alumni Center, as well as your restaurant, is right next to us in the hotel. So tell me about your personal story as well, because I've never had really a true chance to get to know it. What is your Auburn story?
Well, I moved here from a similar part of the world as Dr. ONeill did. I moved here from Bali, Indonesia, to Auburn, and I had worked at, I'm born and raised in Holland, graduated in hospitality management, and landed a job in the early 90s with the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company, moved all over the place, opened hotels in all continents, and was working at the Ritz-Carlton in Bali, and at the time the company was sold to Marriott International. The founder of the company, who also endowed the professorship for Dr. ONeill, Horst Schulze, was the founder and the CEO of the company. And the word on the street was, when he left after the sale, that he was going to start a new luxury hotel company. And I was one of the lucky ones to get the call to say, we're starting over, pack your bags, you're joining. This is after 11 years with Ritz-Carlton. And I said, outstanding, I'm on, sign me up. Oh, by the way, where am I moving to? And I thought, being in Bali, Indonesia, I was going to go to Hong Kong, Shanghai, Singapore, or back to the States to maybe Atlanta or New York or LA. And I was told I was moving to Auburn, Alabama. And I'd never heard of it. And the purpose was, we're starting a new hotel company at the time called Capella Hotel Group, in a partnership with Auburn University, where he had been on the advisory board for the hospitality management program since day one. The university actually purchased a hotel at Auburn University in 2002. In 2003, he was approached by June Henton at the time, and the associate dean at the time, Susan Hubbard, who is now the dean, to basically come in, manage the hotel, and form this partnership, this public-private partnership with the university, and specifically geared towards the hospitality management program. We have world-class faculty, best in class, but how can we bring the industry in and really give these students a hands-on experience in hospitality? We sold the company in 2017. I was able to start Ithaka Hospitality Partners in 2018. And Dr. ONeill have been working together for me for 17 years, and to bring this dream, this vision to life that is being built right next to the hotel right now.
And Eddie, if I add one little thing to Hans's story. So if you know anything about Irish history, and he's heard this lots of times before, you never bring an Irish Catholic and a Dutch Protestant together. How it's worked, no idea, but it works and works well.
Well, let's stay on that topic for a little bit. How does it work? How did you two meet? And was it destiny when you consider what has taken place, which we'll get into in a short minute?
I mean, I'll give you my version of it, and then Hans can give you his. June was a really, really wonderful dean and a wonderful friend, June Hinton. And one evening, as she often did, she had a gathering at her home, and I had been invited along to it. I arrived in December 2002. I think Hans came a little bit later, about February or March. But this particular evening was I want to call it a country and Western gathering at June's house, where I think people could dress up. And the whole idea was to pick your best and your worst country and Western song. And Hans turned up to that event. We got introduced, and that was it. But I mean, you know, we've been back and forward across the street here, as we term it, quite a lot, and working hard to sort of cement this partnership and making it work academically and operationally. And there have been times we've been banging heads off walls, but more often than not, we find a way through. And that's a way that works well for him, a way that works well for his team, me, my faculty, and also the students at the end of all of this. And it's been just so far a tremendous journey.
Mm-hmm.
Hans, as you continue this, what I'd like to do is be able to pull up the website for the Rane Center, if you don't mind. As I'm pulling that up, I'd like to be able to learn more about how the genesis started, the dream behind it, and how it's evolved into what we have now. So please start letting me know a little bit about that while I pull up the site, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Well, both Dr. ONeill and myself come from very traditional European hospitality management programs, which, you know, most of those programs have a functioning hotel and restaurant, and you have 1 day of practicum per week. You have 4 days of class and then 1 day of practicum, and you go back and forth between the hotel side, the restaurant side, the kitchen side. And when we came to Auburn, we quickly connected on the fact that if we wanted to compete not only domestically in the United States, but internationally with the best hospitality programs out there, that we really needed to have a culinary track as well. And so, you know, we presented that idea, within the first, 2 years that we were here, to Dean Hinton, who said, okay, well, you know, you're both from Europe. I want you to go on a benchmarking tour and come back with the best possible ideas on how we can put this vision together. And so literally, Dr. ONeill and myself traveled all over the world to really seek out the single best programs in hotel management, restaurant management, culinary science, brewing science, you name it. We traveled all over Europe. We found the best possible culinary program in Singapore. We went to South Africa, all over the United States, Munich in Germany for the brewing science piece. And every time we came back, we realized that we had found the pinnacle just in that one silo, that one area, but comprehensively, we couldn't find it. So we got more and more and more excited about putting a vision together where all this would be together under one roof. And we realized pretty quickly that this had never, ever been done anywhere in the world. And so watching this 135,000 square foot building, 6 stories tall, come out of the ground right now, the vision that Mr. Jimmy Rane supported from day one and made an incredible contribution to is what allowed us to really start the process and find architects. And even the architects that give us a comp set of similar buildings, similar programming, et cetera, et cetera. We had to tell them, we're starting from scratch. This has never been done. We can give you the best brewing program in Germany, the best culinary school in Singapore, the best hotel in Switzerland, et cetera, but this has never been done. And so it's been an incredible journey to see the complete vision come to life. And as you're pointing out, Mr. and Mrs. Rane Sr. right there, you know, what a legend. He was one of the chapter members, one of the founding members of the Alabama Restaurant and Hotel Association. After World War II, he had the first Holiday Inn franchises in the state of Alabama. Now you got to put this in a place in time where in 1947, 1948, the Holiday Inn was like the Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons, the St. Regis today. They had a pool, right? And so he owned a restaurant, you know, two restaurants actually. And the story of this man is so fascinating, and his love for Alabama, son of an Italian immigrant who came here with nothing, that this resonated with Jimmy Rane and the Rane family. And without their support, this would have never come out of the ground. This would never be where we are today.
Can I
Fascinating story.
Eddie, one thing, you know, and Hans alluded to it. We met with June very early on in this piece, but we had a new president start at Auburn just about the same time, Jay Hughes. And of course, he's back with us again right now, and great person. But he called us into a meeting within weeks of arriving on campus and asked us where our culinary program was. And of course, at that point, we didn't have one. And he was a huge impetus also at the front end of this for what we then started to look at, and the whole culinary piece being central to the design of the building. And he worked really hard also to connect the dots with the Rane family over the coming years. I remember quite well, and Hans, you'll remember it also, we were called into a meeting, and meetings are meetings, but to be called into a meeting to pitch the concept on Thanksgiving Day morning, that was something new for me. I'd never come across that before. I thought we were closed for Thanksgiving, but he helped facilitate all of that. He was just a wonderful champion of what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. What I'm going to go to really quick is the Rane Center itself. And if you'll explain, Dr. ONeill, a little bit about the school and the academic side of this partnership.
Well, I mean, the school's been around for close now to, well, what, 33 years. So I guess if you went back to the evolution of the program, it was born out of home economics. It became food science, food service administration. And then for the longest time, we were hotel and restaurant management here at Auburn. Very unique. Our focus has always been on ultra luxury, on premium service. And that goes back to Hans's mention of Horst Schulze. You know, Horst and the Ritz-Carlton, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen, has always been something that we have looked to as a standard to separate our students competitively when it comes to placement. It's interesting to me, my personal story, actually, I was a wayward graduate student in the early 1990s. And really couldn't settle on a topic. And one day my major professor, God rest him right now, his name is Rob Larimer, sent me down and handed me a paper. I'd been talking loosely about total quality management. And this paper was written by a gentleman called Charlie Partlow from the University of South Carolina, who's still on faculty. And he had shadowed Horst for a period of time over the summer months here in Atlanta and started to relate the Ritz-Carlton story. And immediately, right there, right then, I knew what I was going to take on board as it related to research. And then in 2002, I'm sitting across the table with Horst Schulze, forming a new partnership on this theme, which is ultra luxury and service excellence. And then all those years later, being the first endowed professor named after him was a wonderful thing. But our program is always focused on that. And in partnership with the hotel company, initially West Paces, Capella, and now Ithaka, you know, we've always kept that as our mainstay. You know, most hotel schools in the United States, they're regionally accredited. We made the decision to go off and not only be regionally, but professionally accredited. So we're accredited with the Commission for Programs in Hospitality Administration. We've gone through that twice right now. There are only about 74 schools nationally and internationally that can, you know, fly that flag. So that's really good. And we're the only one in the state of Alabama that flies that flag. Over the years, we've really worked to leverage initially the Ritz-Carlton, then the West Paces, then Capella, and now Ithaka's network to offer what we call a very differential learning experience for the student. And, you know, oftentimes I go to professional meetings and get to showcase some of the opportunities that our students get to have. And I have peers and I have colleagues from, you know, peer institutions. And when they look on these things and they hear of these things and they get to students who've experienced these things, their chin hits the ground. It really, really does. So it's a 4-year program. We offer a degree in hospitality management. Students have the opportunity to specialize, however, in one of 3 things: hotel and restaurant management, which is very much food and lodging, event management, which speaks for itself, and then our most recent option, which is culinary science. And I see Chef Frank Stitt on the screen there right now. And as Frank and others will tell you, we are absolutely about to light the world of national and international culinary education up with what we're doing right now in this new center.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. We've received some comments on Facebook that I'd like to share with both of you. Ada Ruth Huntley says, War Eagle, Dr. Hans and Dr. ONeill, COHS is the best. Some have asked, what's the anticipated completion date? So in a few moments, if you can talk about that. And then some want to know, how will this benefit the city as well as the university? So maybe that's an opportunity for Hans to talk to us about that community relationship, and as well as some of what the amenities will be on the hospitality side.
Absolutely. Well, if you scroll back up a little bit to that beautiful image of the building, that's a little bit higher up. Yes, right there. You know, the building is located on what I call the intersection of campus and community. This is diagonally across from Sanford Hall on the intersection of South College and Thatch. You can see faint on the right-hand side, the current hotel standing right there. The completion date is August of 2022, so we're 2 years away from opening. But what makes this project so special is that you talk about a for-profit entity in an academic sense, where you bring the best of both worlds together, because the budget for this project is substantial. There's a huge amount of money being raised right now, has been raised already, continues to be raised. But there's also a for-profit component on this, which is going to help pay down the debt service on what is not raised. And so the top 3 floors that you see there are a boutique 32-room learning hotel, but it's at a luxury level. You would never build a 5-star hotel in a market such as ours, because it wouldn't be supported. But if it's only 32 rooms and it's a learning/teaching hotel, you can absolutely do that. What we're trying to do is teach our students, make them learn at a 5-star level. If they choose to go for a 4-star hotel company, if that's what they want to pursue, great. It's very easy to take that step from 5 to 4. But what we've learned, the current hotel is a 4-diamond hotel, and we have all these companies that want our students. We only have 200 students in the program, but we have between 70 and 80 firms show up pre-COVID, last October, between 70 and 80 firms show up at our career fair. They're dropping career fairs at far larger programs to come to ours, because the experiences that our students are receiving currently in a practical sense, but the trips we do with them, fully sponsored trips to California, to the Oregon wine country, to Argentina and Chile, a partnership with the Masters in Augusta, an international experience at our Arica campus or in South Africa. Their resumes are so rich by the time they graduate, but I get calls from Auburn Resorts, Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, you name it, for graduates. And there's this little bit of a threshold. I've never stayed or worked in a 5-star hotel. I'm not sure if I can do that. So helping students through this process is having this true teaching hotel, luxury teaching hotel on the top. It has a spa, fitness center, rooftop pool, cabanas. It is stunning. Rooftop garden, rooftop bar and lounge, yoga pavilion. It's unbelievable. On the ground floor in the corner is 1856. Love the fact that we can use that right now. It's our teaching restaurant. It only has 42 seats. And you may say, why would you build a restaurant with only 42 seats in it? Well, it's a teaching restaurant. It will also be the first teaching restaurant in the world where for dinner service, it's a degustation or tasting menu. That has never been done. There's a microbrewery around the corner of this picture that you see right now at the end of the green area, the grassy area, and it's for our brewing science program. There's a food hall. There is a wine appreciation center. There's a micro distillery. And all this is geared, if you think about it, how will the community benefit from this? It's campus and community. It's a for-profit center where we're teaching students at the highest possible levels imaginable in hospitality and culinary. And the community gets to enjoy, but think about being alum. Think about coming back to Auburn for a weekend. You have a welcome reception on the rooftop in the garden. You have on Saturday morning, you have a cooking class. In the afternoon, you have either a brewing class or a wine class or a distilled spirits class. You have a beautiful dinner in the restaurant that night on Saturday night. You have brunch in the library upstairs. You hang out at the pool a little bit. You drive away back home. You've had an amazing weekend in Auburn on a weekend where there's no sports. And so we think that entities like the Goose Performing Arts Center, this Tony Libba Culinary Science Center, are adding so much to the fabric of our community, the experiences that our community can provide. And I think especially for alumni, it gives you a massive reason to come back to Auburn a little bit more often.
Oh, great said. Listen, already we're hearing from our viewers. Carol Law says, this is exciting. It's great. Somebody, Jill Prince said, are you offering a bachelor's in culinary science?
The goal, Eddie, is right now we have an option, but we're moving toward a full degree. So we have how will I put it, an operating plan for the building, and then we've got a strategic plan for the program. And part of the outgrowth of both of those, they meet, is the development of a full 4-year degree further down the line. So that's absolutely doable. Can I just add one little thing there again, if you don't mind?
Please.
The building really, it has a number of missions. It's got a teaching and or an academic mission. It's got a research mission. If you can think of this, it's a living research laboratory where faculty and students can engage not only within the program, but across campus in an observation sense, in a survey sense, in any way that you want. And then it's got a big outreach mission. You know, tourism is huge in this state. And I know we've been hit hard over the last 5-6 months, but it's rebounding. It always does as an industry rebound, no matter what we throw at it. This is going to be a wonderful outreach facility to deal with continuing industry education need. And then, of course, to Hans's point, we're wide open to the public. We're wide open. I know we've made a big mess downtown right now, but I think longer term, that's going to be very, very, very much worth it. And the community are going to benefit tremendously so.
That's what's wonderful. Let me share the website for those that would like to learn more about it. It's www.ranecenter.auburn.edu. For those that want to continue going there and learning more about this. Taylor Logan asked, the heyday market sounds like an interesting concept. Can you expand upon it?
Absolutely. You know, the fastest growing segment pre-COVID of our entire industry has been food halls. I think a lot of people are kind of tired of food courts where you have your usual suspect fast food chains. And when you think about Birmingham, for example, the Bezits food hall, the food halls, Pond City Market, Krog Street Market in Atlanta, they've been blossoming. And what it is, you take individual restaurant operators who take a very condensed version of their restaurant, right? Local, regional, and they open a stall in a food hall. And so it only has 4 or 5 items on the menu, but it's super fresh. It's not a corporate driven menu template, and you know, this is more exciting. And you think about our students on campus having access to this in their meal plan. You know, you have a big green space overlooking Sanford Park. You can have live music out there. We have an outdoor permanent screen where we can project what's happening inside in the building in terms of chefs that are visiting, a brewmaster in the Brewing Science Center, or a game. You can have events out there. It's spectacular. And of course, you know, being able to enjoy when you're 21 years old, of course, a cold beer from the Brewing Science Center. where can you find that? It doesn't exist. But the one thing I wanted to add to the restaurant is that what makes that restaurant 1856 stand out is the concept for it. It's a chef in residence program. And what we learned was we're 125 years behind the Culinary Institute of America, as well as Johnson and Wales. And if we simply do what they do in a much nicer building, we're going to get the same result. And so our vision has always been, we bring in a chef in residence, a nationally renowned chef who appoints one of his or her chef de cuisine sous chefs to the restaurant for 1 year to execute the vision of that chef. That chef is under contract, and he or she will be making many appearances throughout that year in our restaurant, to the students, to a class, a fundraiser, you name it. But over 4 years, these students will have had exposure to 4 nationally renowned chefs. And you put that on your resume, it means something. The other thing is nobody is teaching the style of cooking that goes with the tasting menu. It's a different style, different way of organizing your kitchen. We're teaching both. So lunch is a la carte, dinner is a tasting menu, but because we're an educational entity, we're not charging $375 per person for a tasting menu. We're partnering with the College of Ag. We have so many partnerships being formed right now, or have already been in existence, that are going to contribute to that restaurant. It will be the most unique experience.
Hans, don't give away our secrets.
We've got 3 minutes left, and what I wanted to do in these last 3 minutes, a couple of minutes left, is ask, is there anything else that needs to be shared with those that are viewing this 1856 speaker series now outside of the website, for individuals that are interested in learning more about this and or contributing to its cause?
If I could, I need to give a big plug to the team. So the partnering team, the guys that work at the Hotel and Conference Center, and the guys that work on my side of the street. I mean, we do what we do because we have excellent people, and these people are part of this journey and part of this process for quite some time. And we've gone down the road with a number of different concepts that have had the rug pulled, so people get very disappointed. The excitement that these folks are feeling right now is absolutely phenomenal. But on top of that, the students, I use the word differential a lot, but I'm not, it's not lip service. I mean it. We get a very differential student here at Auburn, and we do wonderful things with them. And to see them move on and place as well as they do, and then come back in an alum sense and want to continue to give back to the program, and listen to the level of excitement they have for all of this. And I'm sure a lot of them are here today. That's it's very rewarding for me personally. So all of this we do for our people, all of this we do for our students, all of this we do for our community. And in community, of course, we include Auburn. So it's just a very good time to be here and a very good time to be part of this project.
Thank you both for joining us today and sharing this exciting update about the Tony and Libba Rane Culinary Science Center. Listen, we look forward to its completion and seeing all of it develop and do what it's meant to do. You guys have been amazing guests, and I thank you for that. Please join us Thursday, September 3rd, when we spend 18 minutes and 56 seconds learning about the Cook Museum of Natural Science in Decatur, Alabama, a project that was influenced significantly by Auburn University alumni. Until then, stay safe. Thank you, gentlemen, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.